Hiya, it's Davin here at Brewbitz.com. Behind the camera we've got James. Say hello, James. Okay, today I thought I would raid my freezer and I found a bag of sloes that I put in that I picked back in probably October last year. And I thought it was about time I got round to using them, and so I thought I would make my favourite wine. It's a wine that's naturally got a level of spice to it. It's really fantastic. It really reminds you of Christmas with mulled wines and everything like that. Basically it's sloe wine and it's gorgeous. So what do we need to make sloe wine? Well, we're going to start off here with 4 pounds of sloes. We've got 3 pounds of sugar, and I'm using a general all-purpose red wine yeast. We need something to sterilise all the equipment with, so I'm using sodium metabisulfate. We'll also need some pectolase, some Camden tablets and some yeast nutrient. We're also going to need a bucket, a demijohn, a jug to measure our water with. We're going to need a hydrometer and a trial jar for testing the specific gravity. A thermometer, a spoon for stirring everything. We're also going to need a straining bag. To get started, we take our bucket. We're going to pour in our sloes. Simple and easy as that. We're now going to pop 8 pints of boiling water. I've already pre-boiled my kettle. So there goes number 1. And 8. Okay, we're going to give this a good stir. Lovely. What we now do is we simply put the top on firmly. The bucket now is going to go into a warm place, about 20 degrees, and it's going to stay there for 6 to 8 weeks. What we're wanting is we're wanting for a mould to start growing on the top. So if you have a sneak peek in a couple of weeks, hopefully you'll see little islands of mould starting to grow, and we want that to get as thick as possible. So about 6 to 8 weeks, we're going to have a nice thick mould on it. Don't worry, it's what we want to have, and it will make the wine taste fantastic. So, warm cupboard, about 20 degrees for 6 to 8 weeks. Hi guys, I thought I'd give you a quick look to see how the sloes are doing just after about 10 days. Come on in, James, and have a look at this. Not really too much. You can see there's a little bit of mould coming here. There's a nice scum on the top. But apart from that, nothing really happening. Right, put the lid back on, back into a warm cupboard, and leave it till that mould grows properly. Hi guys, for you this has only been a few seconds. For me, it's been nearly 2 months. Come on and have a look at this, James, because this is what you want your sloe wine to look like after 2 months. Look at that lovely, gorgeous, thick, horrible, disgusting, rank. Oh, how can I possibly even think about making wine? I know what you're thinking. This is awful, this is horrible, it's gone wrong. No, you need a mould to make sloe wine. It's a bit like doing apple crumble, but making your crumble with no flour. Just making a crumble with butter and sugar doesn't work. You need the flour to get that lovely crumble. Same goes with the sloe wine. You need the mould on top to really develop the flavours. Okay, what we need to do now though is we need to get this mould off the top. And I'm going to show you how to do that. It's quite easy. What we're going to do, we're going to pop it down on the table like this, and down here I've got a second bucket that I'm going to use to plop the mould into. Okay guys, what I'm going to do is in a moment I'm going to put my hands down and I'm going to make sure that I release the mould from the side first, and I'm going to try and get my fingers underneath it like that and lift the mould up in one go and then directly into my second bucket. All right. It's important that you don't break the mould up into lots of different pieces. Okay, so, it's not as thick as I thought, but look, I'm managing to fold it over a little bit. Look at this, all coming out in one nice big lump. Oh, I've got a few sloes floating on the top as well. And in they go. Right. Okay, give me a few moments. I'm just going to wash my hands. Okay, next thing we need to do is we need to get our sloes out of our wine. So I've got another clean, sterilised bucket, and here I've got a straining bag, or you can use some muslin. And all I'm going to do with this into my clean, sterilised bucket is pour the sloe wine through. Be careful, you really don't want to get any splashes anywhere, because this stuff will stain pretty bad. Look at the colour though, isn't it lovely? Beautiful. I'm just going to leave that to drain through for a little bit. Okay, I've just brought back my bucket that I put the mould in, because what we're going to do, I'm just going to unclip these, being careful not to drop them. You don't need them anymore. Feel free to give them a good squeeze just in case there's any juices left in there like that, look. A few bits of juice coming out. Don't squeeze too hard because you don't want any of the pulp in. Right. That's that. Right then. Next, we need to add our 3 pounds of sugar. What we're going to do is just literally pour it in, and with a sterilised spoon we need to give it a good stirring till it's all dissolved. Now you can hear that rasping sound, that gritty sound, that's the sugar. Now you'll know when it's all dissolved because you won't be able to feel it anymore, and that noise will disappear. So give it a good stir till it's all dissolved. Okay, now that's all dissolved. What we need to do is we need to add some yeast nutrient. Here I'm using vitamin B1 tablets, and I'm going to be using 2 tablets per gallon, not 3, not 1, 2. Perfect. And the way I do this, because you need to crush them, is put them on a teaspoon, take a teaspoon of the same, and then put them together and push them together. And then, hey presto, look, it's turned to a powder. That's all you need for a gallon. And it goes, and give it a good stir. Okay, the next thing we need to add is, here I'm using dried active yeast, and we need a teaspoon of this per gallon, and that literally just goes in as well, and then we'll give that a good stir in as well. Okay, let's get rid of the spoon. We're going to pop on the lid, just pressing it down 2 sides like that, and this is now going to go in my warm cupboard for the next week to ferment, and then in a week's time we can look at taking it out of the bucket and put it into a demijohn. It's been a week that my sloe wine has been sat in my warm cupboard, and now it's time to transfer it into a demijohn. And to do this we're going to be using a siphon. I've already sterilised my siphon and my demijohn. So, pop the top. Ooh, this is always the nice little bit. In goes the siphon. Be careful because there's some sediment at the bottom and you don't really want to disturb that. So I tend to go put the siphon in at the top and let it go down with the flame. Give a good suck. Pop the end in and let it flow. Okay, it's going to take a little while to siphon all of the wine into the demijohn, but you want to get it to at the bottom of the neck, at the top of the shoulder, just here. And when it reaches there, stop. Okay, so I've finished siphoning off. There's a little bit left in my tube. Lovely. Come on in, James, have a quick look at all this lovely, horrible sediment in the bottom here. Lovely, isn't it? Oh, gooey. Right, well, we're going to get rid of that. We don't need that. So, our demijohn. I didn't have quite enough to bring us up to the shoulder, but this is going to be fine. The next thing we need is our airlock. And come on in, James, have a quick look at this, because in the bottom of my airlock I've got some liquid. And that's a sodium metabisulfate solution, or you can do it with a Camden tablet and a bit of water. And that's to stop any nasties, any bacteria, etc. getting in and harming our wine. What it's also going to do is, as our wine finishes off its fermentation in the demijohn, it's going to put some carbon dioxide up through here, and you're going to see bubbles forming through. So we pop that in. And when we see no more bubbles coming through, we need to take a hydrometer reading over the next 3 consecutive days. And that will tell us, as long as the hydrometer reading stays the same, that the fermentation's finished. And then it's time to rack it off. This though, right now, is going to go into my warm cupboard again, and it's probably going to take another couple of weeks to finish fermentation. And as I say, once you finish seeing those bubbles coming through, it's time to rack it off, and you just need to go and look at one of our other videos which is telling you how to rack off. And then hopefully, in a few months, you'll be drinking an absolute gorgeous Sloe wine, and I can assure you, it's fantastic.